I grew up in East Jerusalem in the first Intifada, which means there was violence all around me when I was a kid. When I was 9 years old, my older brother was arrested on suspicion of throwing rocks. He was beaten up in prison. He had internal injuries due to beating he got, and he ended up dying soon after his release. For 8 years, my life was focused on revenge. When I was 18 years old, I decided to go and study Hebrew in an ulpan because if you don't speak Hebrew and you live in Jerusalem, you can't go to college, you can't work, you can't do anything. It's a must language, and I refused to learn it before because it was the language of those who killed my brother. That was my first ever sit down where I met Israelis as my co-students, as my teacher, not just as a soldier at a checkpoint, not just as a settler. And that was such a big change. I realized that the students in that class didn't know any Palestinian before, they didn't know my story, and I didn't know theirs. And so suddenly we had this conversation where we were able to learn about each other, understand each other, and realize this binary division of us versus them, Israelis versus Palestinians, is not really accurate and shouldn't be the way we see any division. And instead, I looked at it as us versus them, becoming us, Israelis and Palestinians, who believe in peace and justice, who believe in working together, who believe in ending violence, who believe in freedom for all and justice for all, and those who are not there yet. And I say yet because I wasn't there. I realized in that classroom a lot of things I didn't realize, I think, before. One of those is when I chose to be angry, when I chose to hate, I was being a slave to the person who killed my brother. I wasn't making my own choices. I was making their choice for me. I believe this line between seeking justice and seeking vengeance is a very thin line. We all think we're seeking justice, but in reality, most of us seek revenge, and I think that's also what's happening today. From that moment of transformation, I ended up doing a lot of interdisciplinary work. And then in 2009, I met Scott Cooper, a Jewish American who's become my best friend. We started Mejdi, a travel company that's focused exactly on that and connecting people and making travel a vehicle for peace. And we did something that, some thought was crazy in the beginning, like putting an Israeli and a Palestinian tour guides together for a week, for 10 days on a tour, where people get to hear from both perspectives, not only politics, but history, culture, religion, bringing speakers from all kinds of political backgrounds, religious backgrounds, national backgrounds, so on, to talk about everything, again, from politics and history, journalism, art, music. Our tour guides, our staff, our Israelis and Palestinians who work together every day, and they not allowing even these moments to divide us. We communicating with each other, trying to figure out and verify what we're hearing from our own sides. We are staying friends, even as we sometimes might disagree. We can have an incredible place. Israelis and Palestinians are not that different after all. We have so much similarity, we have so much in common, and we can live together. We have to refuse to be enemies.